So, hello everybody, and welcome back to Simulation Section. It's me and more Central, that northerner that drives simulator things. I'm getting to the stage now I'm running out of bits to say at this point in the video, so I do need to sit down and brainstorm some exciting and innovative phrases. But you join me at the gateway to the north, London King's Cross Station with some Azumas, lovely Azumas, LNER Azumas with the incredibly horrid seating that they are apparently refurbishing. There was something was released recently stating that they're apparently refurbishing them with better seats, which will be really nice. But they aren't our focus today. Our focus is this thing here. So if we get the doors opened today, we are taking the 1H06 1848 London King's Cross to Beverley service, and we're taking it as far as just after Peterborough. So we're completing the scenario just after passing Peterborough. So we're doing a direct run north. So we're literally picking up here and then we are going like the service would in real life. So we need to get the doors open. I don't quite know why they're not open. Are they open down here? I don't know why we're not opening. So we need to get that sorted. Oh gosh, that's a bit of lag. I don't quite know why they're not opening. That's very confusing to me. But we are going to go with the assumption that people are choosing not to open them. So, how do I get this train started? Let's try and remember. There we go. That was easy. That was a little bit delayed, I will be honest. That was a bit more delayed than I was expecting it to be. And we'll have to put our headlights on because, as you can see outside, it's dark. The sun has very much set. I don't want it dimmed on. I need it facing that way. There we go. All the nozzles on the other one, so we'll have full headlights on because it is dark. So, a few more seconds of loading our passengers up, and then we will be good to go. This is the 800 to 803 series enhancement pack by Armstrong Powerhouse. So it has a lot more buttons, a lot more exciting features, free paint, and a lot more capability. So you can do a lot more with this now, which is really nice. Yeah, I don't know why nobody wants to open the doors. I can only assume everybody's already on that wants to be on, so not an issue. So we're going to get to see this line today in a sort of perspective that we don't usually see it. So we're going to get to enjoy this line in the high-speed form. Quite recently we've been doing all the stopper stuff, so it will be really nice to have a go at this in sort of the higher speed capacity. As you can see, we have another Azuma arriving in. Someone that has been on trains today and has actually seen Azumas, and this is very exciting. So there we go. So let's get this set up. This is really cool. So this is a scenario that I have downloaded. I don't have everything that it needs and requires, so there will be some stuff that you may look at in this and you may think to yourself, hang on a second, that's missing, or that doesn't look right, or that should be there, or something like that. So my apologies for that. There are some bits missing, I'm afraid. However, I thought I'd still give it a nice good crack just to see what it's like, because why not? Oh, I do hate it when I forget to get rid of the F3. I will be honest. I do hate it. So let's get a... That looks like a nice screeny. I don't know how much of a focus it is putting on our lovely Hull Trains service, but we've got to do what we can with the lighting. There we go. So my last trip to and fro London was on a Hull train service, as far as I'm aware. That it feels like that was a long time ago. It was my last trek to London. But it was on a Hull train service there and a Hull train service back. The Hull train service back north, I did film. You can watch a YouTube video of it on the Amwell Central channel, so you can sort of see the Hull train's perspective in real life from that. So when I saw this scenario and it was like, oh, it's a Hull train service, you can take the Zoomer on like, it's not on a Zoomer with them, it's an 802. You can take the Hull train's 802 out. I was like, oh yes, that sounds exciting. So a nice little scenario, doing a later trip, which is always fun. And getting to drive these, I'll keep saying a Zoomer. I am going to keep saying a Zoomer because that's what I call them. We are going to get to drive the 800 series. Because we did have a go with the 800 series last time, a couple of videos ago. We took it on the a couple of times a day extensions from Leeds to Bradford Foster Square on the Airedale to Wharfdale lines. Everybody takes the LNER Zoomers, 800s, 801s. They take them up and down the East Coast main line all the time. So I was like, I want to have a drive of one of these on here, but it's got to be something different. So obviously this is where this came in, and I was like, yeah, that's very different. Let's have a little drive of Hull trains. Can't get much more exciting than that. And it also gives us a nice excuse to use the 800 series enhancement pack again, which is always exciting. And if you look at the interior as well, this is another thing I absolutely love with this. The interiors vary on reskins, so each reskin has its own related interiors. So you've got the ones, the Zoomers, as you saw earlier, they have the LNER one. This has the Hull trains one with the Hull trains kit, which is really cool. So we have about 40 minutes, just under 40 minutes. It'll probably end up reducing, I think, to do 77 miles. So this is very much the vibe that you get when you are sat on a train on the East Coast main line heading north. That's why I thought we'd have a go at this scenario, because I thought we've been doing a load of stopper stuff recently. I thought it'd be really cool as something else that I can relate to, and sort of enjoying the high-speed nature of this, and sort of seeing that comparing and contrasting what it feels like to sort of do it in a high-speed nature, and also to do sort of the later run. We've done a lot in the daylight, so it's nice to do something sort of as the sun's setting kind of thing, and it is also really nice just to get that effect as well. And this way we should see up on at least 100 miles an hour. I'm hoping to get us up to 125. Our way up to these routes would be very nice. Good way to sort of test it, and totally different to what we normally do, which is why I thought, oh, we are speeding ever so slightly. We'll just wait for the speed limit to change, it's fine. Wobble. I wasn't expecting wobble, I'm going to be entirely honest. What I also like is, can you see like the ever so slight arcing as well on the Panther? If you look, you can see it in the light. That's really cool. Ever so slight arcing. That's seriously cool. That is seriously awesome. It does very much have a totally different vibe to it when you drive at sort of this speed and you do it one of these runs, which I do incredibly enjoy. Because having sat on, like I've never done the stopper line up here. I've never had a reason to. I've always been on sort of the fast trains whizzing north. So it has been really fun doing the stopper runs, and we've still got quite a few videos planned with a few of the more obscure units I've got on the stopping runs on the East Coast Main Line. So we're doing them, but it is also seriously cool to be sort of driving from this perspective as well. Because it's something I've been meaning to do ever since I got the route, like probably about 6 years ago I bought this route. And I've just never really done it, never really had the opportunity to sort of drive from this perspective, so this is incredibly enjoyable. And it's also going to be really fun watching as we get into this 100 zone properly. It's going to be incredibly fun watching us just absolutely eat those miles up. Slowly creeping up, so we're on 100 now, and then we're going to be getting to 115 miles an hour. Like, this is a totally different ball game compared to when you're doing the stoppers. Like, a lot of that is the pacing for each station, but this is a very different thing of balancing your speed, making sure you're keeping it appropriate, and dealing with a lot of higher falling sort of numbers, a lot more responsibility on that side, and also having to keep an incredibly close eye, because these speed limit changes are obviously like greater distances away, and you've got to react to them pretty quickly. So this is why whenever you sort of hear about something going on in London, like line side fire, or you're hearing like an incident happen where a vehicle beats off, something like that, you have to take it seriously, because these are the kind of speeds you're dealing with usually. So these are the kind of high speeds that trains are going when these incidents happen. Down there, when you sort of got it up north on the local line, there isn't as much risk with it, because the speeds aren't as high as this in most places. Longer distances, you are constantly going at speed like this, and obviously a collision with a vehicle like a road vehicle or something at this speed is unthinkable. Really is far from imaginable how bad it could be. But it's like, that's why with stuff like line side fires and things like that, they've got to be so prepared and so careful with the decisions they make, because you obviously can't risk it, because if you've got trains going at this speed, they won't be able to stop in time. Like there's a line side fire estimates, something like that, no matter how small, you've got to prepare for it. Tilt in action, I love it. It's also really cool on sort of the East Coast Main Line to sort of pass on intermediate stations, especially having done scenarios recently where we stop on them all. Like, I think that is a really cool thing as well, is to sort of pass through them all and just be like, oh wow, yeah, I've stopped here and stopped at this station, and now I am whizzing through it at 113 miles an hour. that's really cool. We are reaching up the miles pretty quickly, to such a degree that it's counting down in like twos when it's going down like 0.36, then to 3.4, so forth. Like it's counting down 0.2, which is quite crazy. Another one. This is cool. So bizarrely, even though we're doing around 115, really not far off, we are actually losing time in the ETA. I don't quite know how that's possible. And we are losing time in the ETA, which is really helpful. My apologies for the lack of stop traffic in this video. This scenario is set up to have to use the 700s. There's AI traffic presumably that you pass along here. That's why we've not seen any sort of stop traffic, because it's all modded in as 700s, which I don't have the 700s. I've been on a few of them, but it's a bit too modern for me. I'm not that committed to this line, that interested in this line, to purchase it. I don't really think much of them, so it's a shame that I'm not going to go out and spend my hard-earned cash acquiring. So apologies if that doesn't appear here as AI traffic. For me, as I say, they don't do much for me, so that's why I've decided just to not purchase it. The thing is if it was like Opti where there's a lot of freewares and only a couple of paywares, yeah, they'd probably be like, oh yeah, I might buy it. But because everything is payware free, because they do discuss it pretty much everything is, and even the free stuff usually requires a little bit of payware. I just want to enjoy what I've got. I don't want to kind of have to have a load of stuff, especially if I'm only using it for 1 or 2 scenarios and never going to drive it and enjoy it. So that's my take on it. As I said, it's different without it, but that's my take. So as you can see from the amps and the RPM, this is a bi-mode train. Bi-mode basically means it has 2 modes. It has electric wire power and it has diesel. That is because these trains go to Hull, and once you leave Doncaster, you also leave the electric wire behind. So these are bi-modes. So these have a diesel unit as well. So the diesel unit can take to Hull. That's why it's saying 0 RPM, and the amps are usually on, as you can see when I move the accelerator, because we are currently on the electric wires, because it would be incredibly daft to be on the diesel. This is another thing that the enhancement pack by Armstrong Powerhouse really does cover, is it covers the different variations. You have all the different deliveries, and you also have this nonsense of the prime. So it does feel like you can utilise this a bit more and make those a bit more. It does also mean that you can use the TPE sets as well, so you can take the TPE which is like the Huddersfield line in the previous video, so again you don't feel like it's not going to work or there's going to be a problem, something like that. I do love how the only thing that's really lighting it up is the sparks coming off the pantograph hitting wires, which is incredibly cool. I'm absolutely obsessed with that. So as you can see, in a mile, just over a mile, we are hitting the 125 zone, the bit where we get to open up as quick as we can go. Very exciting. So it is just, for me, it's just really funny how you sort of go through this and you go through all of these stations. Like in a few videos ago we were stopping at all of these and it took like half an hour. This has so far taken us probably about 15 minutes to get all the way through. It's just absolutely baffling. It just shows the difference that it makes when you do stop at all these stations. Really does show the difference. So there we go, 125 miles an hour, so let's open up and see what it can do. See, I don't think the 4View's doing it much justice. It looks like it's going really slow, but it isn't. We're doing 180 miles an hour. This does a bit more justice, and then if I do this, yeah, it does a bit more justice. So we've got to get it as close to 125 as we can. We've got to be brave. We're really daft not to get it onto 125 while we have the opportunity, because this is the quickest that we've got in train sim for quite some time. There we go, 125. He likes to say that we're speeding when we're doing 125, but we are, as you can see, bang on 125. See if you can get a lower one. Come on, give me a lower one. Let me perch. Trying to see if there's any other timings on this. I'm just used to clicking the F1 and seeing all the station lists. It's just really weird to be like, no, you're just direct all the way up. You get to enjoy the entire line. Genuinely love how you get to 100 and, oh there we go, we are on like 26 now. You get to 125 and it just tells you you're speeding. The speed limit is. Come on, are you gonna drop? I'm just gonna, it'll naturally drop it. I ain't clicking it, it's fine. There we go. But the speeding thing still stays. We're doing bang on 125 now with it still stays on. How lovely. How joyous. We go on the random lane it goes. 125. This is the only issue with doing runs like this. Is what I do struggle with. Is now that we're going at this speed and now that we're here and we're vibing with this, there's not much else to sort of do. We just sort of go. We're just sort of going. So this is the bit where you do need this, like passengers to sort of sit here and vibe. Like you would on the train. Like you just sort of I've never visited before and I'll probably never go to. I did really enjoy my experience with full trains, and they do have the same iron seating that the LNER Zoomers have, which is a shame. But the customer service on full trains is absolutely wonderful. Everybody's really nice, everybody's really friendly. The service just feels like it's got a bit more of a personal touch. There's just a little bit more, you feel like you are the customer rather than just a passenger figure when you're in a full train service. I've never, I've been in it times now, never had an issue with seat reservations, never had an issue with anything at all. The trains are really punctual, and I do know that if there are any issues with their services, they make it very clear as much in advance as they can, and they try and alleviate any problems. And I know that on busy days they'll try and book something fixed. So it just is an operator that goes the extra mile. It's why they are doing so well. It's why they are continuing to grow, continuing to expand, and why they are an incredibly successful open access operator, which is really nice. It's really nice to see an open access operator which is successful. So we have 43 miles to go, just over 20 minutes. That's fine. I just saw like a hand appear and I was like, oh, what does that do? That gives off the effect that we're going a bit quick. Excellent. That gives that effect off. That's fine. I mean, there is the speed selection thing here. I mean, probably could have set that up. I think if I'd have set that up, my life would be a bit easier, but I don't know how. So I'm kind of just left it. I've left it. At least it feels like I've got a job. I feel like if that wasn't set up, I'm sat here digitally doing nothing. So I feel like I'm actually somewhat helping the game out rather than just letting the game play itself. Although to be fair, at this point I could probably walk off, go somewhere, go for a meal, come back, and we're going to get pizza. Miles at the pace that we're currently going is definitely not long at all. So 20 minutes on our I used the whistle a bit too late, I'm going to be honest. I saw the whistle sign, thought about it, and then thought, oh yeah, I should probably do that. So I was ever so slightly late, but that's fine. Biggles Way. No idea. We are somewhere. We are somewhere. That's what matters. That was another whistle sign that was very late for. Still did it. That's fine. That's what matters. There we go. Still did it before the crossing. That time, the other one I think I did it after the crossing. at about 40 minutes is a bit longer compared to the kind of stuff that you usually do. And it is nice every so often to just do something totally different. So I am yet to sample the 810s, the ARAs. I really do need to sample them to say that they come to Sheffield. I've seen them quite a lot. I still haven't been on one, and so I'm thinking of when I trip down to London, maybe possibly be with East Midlands Railway. I am hoping to get a last ride on one of the Meridians as well, 221s, 222s, because I do really like them 222s. I always found them to be like really comfy. Don't get me wrong, they were showing the days were a little bit dated, but I always found them to be just really comfy. Like just really nice, comfortable trains. Like I actually enjoyed my trips to and fro London on them. Then I've hubs that still work, which were nice, and they were just comfy. And that's all I ask for. Just if I'm sat on the train for about 2 hours, I want it to be comfortable. I've heard that these 810s are apparently the biggest improvement on the 800 series going, on the new IEG going. Apparently the seats are beautiful, like compared to the others. The specs really nice. I know that EMR put a lot of money into them. So I've heard that they are really like the best that any of the 800 series have done so far. So obviously setting quite high hopes there. Very high hopes, very high hopes, promises. But hopefully they are as good as people are saying. I'm a little bit disappointed, obviously, that the Meridian's going. I know that they are going to have a new use. They're going to Luton, probably, I believe, and then onwards somewhere else, I think. So they are going to have a use. It is a shame because, again, they've had a really good life. Some of them operated 4 Hull trains when Hull trains started, so it's quite ironically they were here with Hull trains. You can actually drive one of the Meridians in the Hull trains livery on here, on TrainSim, like that livery is available. It is replaced on the English trains Meridian. I do have a scenario that covers that. Hull trains, exciting. I do have a scenario that does cover driving one of the Meridians. I am debating using it at some point. Say, I do need to get the enhancement pack set up for that thing properly. But I do have it set up. I thought I had it set up. I do actually. I need to get the enhancement pack set up for the. It's the only thing I can really use it on is the likes of old trains, the old Hull train stuff, and possibly a bit of Lincoln's Cross to London St Pancras to sort of Bedford way in the middle of the main line, and a little bit of that as well. That's the kind of thing we'll be alright. The problem is there's a lot of the scenarios for the MML have sort of extended through routes where they've joined the routes together. That, don't get me wrong, I'd love to do, I'd really love to drive these joint routes, but it's all the random dependencies next to them and all the random bits that they've then added into the scenery that random routes that they cost you 30 quid to buy, £25 to buy, and it's just like, well, I'm not going to spend that money. So I will find some scenarios for them and I'll drive them. We're now 26 miles. Really not far away at all. Yeah, very quickly. Oh, and then we're slowing down to 120. That's disappointing. I know that we have to at some point because we have absolutely loads, but still disappointing nevertheless. So I'm going to let this naturally slow down until it doesn't, and then I'll get it moved. bang on for the keep forgetting to do the two-tone bit. Oh, and then we're going to go back to 125. That's good. I thought that'd be the only 125 section. I got really disappointed then. No, we've got more 125 action. Do need to have a drive of the night one again. I actually love night ones. I think there's a few bits I need to install to get the more modern sets working, but I haven't done yet. There are definitely bits I need to install because there's a scenario set up that I can take from Skipton to Leeds or Leeds to Skipton, and I really want to do that because that's cool, in my opinion. That's really cool. So I'm going to do that. Just about getting it set up. And then I can use it a little bit more because I've got pretty much the entire, East Coast main line, like heading to London. I've got the mod that I can drive. Like even the York to Newcastle Modern I've got. Was Modern about 15 years ago when it came out. Isn't as modern now, but was modern about 15 years ago when it came out. Again, that route was acquired, and we have done a video on it. We've done a video with the double dog box. That route was acquired purely for the intro music. That was the jazziest, funkiest intro music I've ever known for a simulator that worked in product. It was just unnecessarily jazzy, it was really country. So we are 20 miles away now. Still lost about 30 seconds. I know it's not much in the grand scheme of things, but we've lost 30 seconds during the course of this video. It's a wee bit annoying. It's really, really cool just watching the miles go down as quick as they are. Like, I mean, when you sat on the train, like, up the East Coast Main Line doing 125, I do find it really fun to just open the Google Maps and open the GPS and watch how quick it is, or set it up, go for, have a conversation, or watch a video or something, come back, and then look at where the GPS last picked up, give it a couple of seconds for the GPS to kick in, and then see, the mileage that you covered in, that 5 minutes. It's just absolutely insane. It's so cool. I mean, I looked at it earlier on the trip back from Leeds to Sheffield today. I filmed the video before this and this one back to back. I'm just in a trains. Haven't been in today. I'm in trains. Sometimes I'm just in a train. At the moment, I'm in trains. Coming back, and looked at the time. We've got the slow train back to Sheffield, and we're on the 158 on it. On the slow line by Morthorpe, which is caught it up, caught it back. Nice tube line, nice and quiet line. Don't fancy busy stuff. The week before, went on the cross-country run with the Voyager, one of the Exavantes. Sets, that was nice. Nice to go sort of on the slower line, that was really quiet. And we looked, and that line took about an hour and 13 minutes. And about 8 minutes in front of us was the LNER to London, and that got in 15 minutes after our train going to Sheffield, which was really funny because it was like, well, we've got all around the houses here, and that train is less than an hour away, just over 45 minutes away from London. That is madness with how many miles that has covered in contrast to what we did on our little jaunt from Leeds to Sheffield. It's just absolutely bonkers to put it into perspective like that. It's really cool. really cool particularly that way. So we're nearly on single-digit miles. Now, obviously, in real life, this train continues up and saves all the stations and bits like that. But for today, our bit is very much nearly done. One thing that I do think is a shame that we don't have yet, and it does surprise me that we don't have it yet, is sort of hull lines and a route related to sort of hull. So starting obviously with Hull Interchange, Paddington Station, having sort of a line that goes up to at least Bridlington, and then one that goes to sort of at least like Woodland, Selby, or at least Rough. And it really does surprise me that we don't have that. Like, that would be such a cool thing to have. So you could obviously do the cruise services, you could do the Shorebirds 155. I mean, I've got the 155 installed, downloaded and set up, because it's obviously a free add-on from the 153, but I've got nothing to use it on. Like, I can use it on a little bit of York to Selby, but it just gets boring if that's all you use it for, just that little section of line. So it is something I really want to, like, I'd love to see proper, even sort of max tracks have a crackable, that sort of route, or even like Bradford Interchange, and seeing Bradford Interchange to, let's say, Todmorden, and then Bradford Interchange to Leeds, via Beverley, Newcastle. That would be pretty cool. You could do the whole Halifax Spinners, you could cover the Leeds to Manchester Victoria and Chester runs, you could cover the through services that run from, that was a Russell there, and you could cover the through services that run from Blackpool or to York, and you'd have so many different areas, so much to do there, so much excitement. It'd be cool, it'd be really cool, and it'd be the line I grew up on, as well as the Cross Square line. I grew up within walking distance of that line that ran from Bradford Interchange. So I used to have to walk down and watch the trains go by, that's how close it was. Oh, we've not slowed down in time because I've been too busy having a conversation. Let's just slow it on down properly. Don't slow that down. This is a bit where we are, slowing down now. 8 miles away. Probably whistle there that I haven't known. Oh no, we're going back up 115 a little bit. And from here we'll let it naturally coast down to 100. Once again that it's now not doing. Bit of intervention, there we go. And then 6 miles now. Not far to go, just 4 more minutes, then we've reached whatever point it's just going to go, yeah, you're done now. I don't know what's going to happen because it has been an incredibly long time since I've done a scenario that will end as abruptly as this one. I'm just used to stopping at a station and being like, yeah, that's it, bye, we've done it, cool beans. I'm not used to just it going stop in the middle of nowhere sort of thing. So I'm probably going to pause it just before I go through, just to end the video off there before I ping back to the home screen. Just want to have a little bit of control of how the video went, which I think will be a little bit better than it just goes, you don't fine, and just kicks around. Because like we did when we had the incident of the 365, because my signal pack decided it was going to play up, which for the record was incredibly annoying because I didn't actually realise that half the signal was missing. I think if every single set of signals was missing, it'd be fine, but because some random ones were still there. I didn't notice it as much. And then we got to that point and it was like, oh, we've had an accident. We've derailed and now there's a train about to drive into us. It was a very unexpected situation to be in. Although I will admit, if I'd have been a couple of seconds late with it just smashed into us, I do feel like that would have been a pretty cool and interesting way to end off the video. I'm definitely building up now to having enough video content to put a best bit compilation together. Best bits of mistakes, things going wrong, things I'm going to put. I've definitely got the clips to do that. So we are 3 miles away, dropping down into 5, and then we'll literally start to get onto the 125 just as we reach the physical end of this route. Again, absolutely bonkers to me that we can do the entire end-to-end run on this in about 40 minutes, and yet when you do it in the the stopper service, it'll probably take about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's absolutely baffling. We go for speeding, very much go for speeding. I want to say that's Peterborough, but I think it will be because there we go, so that's Peterborough. And then as you can see, we're starting to approach the new down. So what I am going to do at this point is I am going to end off the video here in the pure darkness. We can't actually see the train. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it in the passenger saloon as we leave Peterborough and continue to head north towards all the stations, towards Doncaster, Hull and then Beverley. So I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Something different compared to the kind of runs we usually drive, but I thought it'd be pretty cool, pretty different, and still an enjoyable run. If you have enjoyed this video, as always, do click that like button, because that way more people can find the video and enjoy it just like you have. If you've got any suggestions of routes, trains, reskins you'd like me to use in Train Simulator, or maps, routes and buses you'd like me to see in OMSI, and driving OMSI, please do let me know in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content like this from Train Simulator and OMSI 2, the bus simulator. Thank you all for watching.